Hello everyone, welcome to the God Stack. I believe. Hello everyone, welcome to the God Stack. Another day, another session, and we will keep going with React. And welcome Bruno, welcome to the live. How are you? How was your day? I can't hear you. I believe you're muted. I can't hear you somehow. Let me just check it. It's nice. Do that again. No, it's my mic.
Oh,
Now I can hear you. It was my audio. I was muted.
no problem.
Yeah. So again,
As of
welcome to the God Stack. How are you? How was your day?
I'm good. My day was fine. Wrote a lot of tests, but all good. All the tests passed.
Yeah, this is
So
really good. Well, welcome Citrus. Welcome Thiago. Welcome everyone that's here with us. So let's go to another day. Thank you, Citrus, to be here. And I will keep going with React. That's what we were doing in the last session. And today is the day that I think that we should focus on the themes. This is one of the things that it's very important when you are creating a React environment, and most of the people just let it go when the software is already done, and I don't think that's a good idea. Everything that's from infrastructure, you should think about that from the beginning, and this is what we are going to do today. Okay, so let me just share my screen now with you guys. See if
let's
everything's
do
alright.
it.
Yeah, let's do it. Nice. So, uh, as we always do, we are using Docker. Okay, so I'm just going to do the magic that we always do. So Docker compose up and wait for everything to go up, and then we check. Again, this command I've showed you how to do that in the, I believe some lives before this one, and all the infrastructure. So what do we have now? We have the backend, and the backend is using Nodejs. It's using GraphQL. We are working with Apollo. Uh, the backend we have JWT to work with logging and all this structure, and we have Docker to support us. We have the CI process using GitHub Actions, and the GitHub Actions runs all the tests, and then when the test is okay, it's compiled the image and send the image to the Docker Hub, and we have our image into the Docker Hub. From there, you can use any cloud you want. You can use Google Cloud, you can use Amazon, Azure, DigitalOcean. You can use any different clouds to pull this image from there and run it in any place you want to. So all this structure we already created, and now we are focusing on creating the same structure that we created to the backend. We will do that to the front end. Okay, so let's do that. So we are going to, if we were going to work with the themes, so I believe that that we what we should do is to create inside the source folder, we create a new folder called called themes. Okay, nice. And I will create again another folder inside of that, another folder, and it's gonna be the global style. Global style. Okay. Why do we need a global style? Well, when you start, welcome Albus, welcome to the stream. When you start an application, it's really important for you to create something to reset the HTML. Most of the software developers does these kind of things, and we are going to do that as well. So I'm just going to create a new file here, index.js, okay, and then inside this we are going to import the create global styles, and it's gonna be from styled components, okay, and the name of that is create global style. That's it. And of course we are create a global style, okay, global styles, and it's gonna execute this function, okay, and this function works just like the styled component I've showed you in the last session. You just use the backticks, and it's almost a string templates, so you can just use that in order to work with your application. And I'm just going to use the asterisk because I want it to be applied to everything inside my application. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset the margin, okay, so I'm just going to make the margin be a 0. I'm going to reset the padding as well, okay, and the box sizing, I'm going to reset the border box as well. So this is the most simple thing that you could do. There are a lot of other things that you could do here. You could, for example, get all the divs in your application and do something with that, you know. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to reset everything from the point of view that it's a simple application, and from there, if I need anything, I can come back here and use that. So I will just export it. So export default, and then that file, and of course into themes I will create a index.js file, okay, and then in this index.js file I will export default as global styles from global style, okay. And I'm doing that, if you remember from the last sessions that we have, in the webpack that I've showed you line by line what everything inside the webpack, what means all that. One of the magic lines we have, it's the modules. It will resolve all the modules, and when it looks to the src folder, it will think that the src folder, it's a module just like any other nodule modules. We use this magic in order to do things like these that I'm going to do now. So where is the general index? This one. So I can do something like that, import something from, and then here I can do the themes. So this is just working. I don't need to do things just like that. And for well, I could do these directly. Here it's gonna be easy, but I don't need to do the // to find the folders. I can just get things directly from the src folder, and I can do that because I used this line inside the resolve this line, and it's going to group the Node modules with the src folder. So everything inside the src, every folder I have inside the src, it will be seen as a module, okay. And let's just go back here, and let's just import the global styles, okay. And then I get the global styles, and I will just execute the global styles before the app. So if we go to the SPA local.tgs.com. This is my home page. Okay, if I don't do that, you see that you have these margins around my page, and this is default when you are working with HTML. All these margins and these lines that you have around the things, it's comes as default, but no one like this, so we just reset it, and it's that easy to do that. So now you can see that my home page, it's accessing everything. So from the very border that I have here, it's going to be it's going to access all of these. Okay, so let's just check if login is still working. Nice, it is still working. Well, with the themes working, the other thing that I want to do is to actually create the themes. Okay, but I want to use the context API to do that for us. Okay, so I will create a new folder here. This folder, I will call it theme provider. Okay, and inside the theme provider, I will create a new folder called theme context. Okay, and inside this folder, I will create the theme context. Okay, so let's just do that. It's gonna be in JavaScript, and if I want to use the context API from React, you just need to import from React. What you need to do is to create context. There you go, and then you create a variable that will receive this context. So let's call it theme context. Okay, let me just mute the WhatsApp. Mute. Nice. Okay. And this variable will execute this function, and then I will just export it. Default theme context. So what I'm doing here, yeah, okay, Bruno.
Yeah, it's fine. I was just welcome the devs.
Welcome, devs. Welcome to the Gold Stack. Well, so I just create a context. It's really simple, but this is all you need in order to create a context API from the React. You just execute this function, okay? But now you need to create as well the provider, okay? So this is what I'm going to do, and the provider is going to be a little bit more complicated, but not that much. Okay, so we need to do the import React from React that we always do, and just let's create the provider now. Provider, and this provider, it's going to receive children. Okay, and it's exactly like any other React function, you know. Okay, so what I'm going to do, if it's just any theme provider, prop types, well, I'm not going to do that right now because I don't talk about that, but let's just export it. Export default theme provider. Okay, so it's like a React component. So I'm creating it in the same way that we create a React component. Okay, and now what we're gonna do, inside of this, we're going to return. Okay, return, and then we need to return the context. So I'm gonna pass my application to the provider, and everything that we receive will be wrapped by the context. So we need to import the context, okay, from Temi context, and it's a default, isn't it? So I can just get these from Temi context. Let's just do that. So it's going to get these. So this is a component just like any other component you've got in React, okay? And I'm going to pass the children inside of this. There we go. So right now it's really seems to be really simple. I've created this context. Now this context it's a component, just like any other React component you've got, okay? And I'm going to create another component that gets any children and wraps these children with the context I've just created, okay? That's simple, and you are connected with the context API. So who's gonna be connected to that? So let's just import it here. So let's export default from, and then let's just get the team provider, okay? So let's call it default as team provider, okay? So I'm just exporting these inside the team folder, and now I can go to the index.js and wrap everything that I have with these themes, okay? So I already have it here, so I can just do a comma and import it here. So let's do that. I'm not going to, well, between the browser router and the theme provider, it doesn't matter. You can make any one of them be the one wrapping the other. So I'm just going to put it inside here. So let's just do that, team provider, and let's make the app. So now all my application has access to the theme. So if I want to get the theme, all my application will have access to that. And let's go back. Another thing that you need to do the dot provider, okay? Dot provider, because this because this is the provider, it's the real component that we want to, okay? And for the provider, you can pass a value, okay? Just like that, I can pass a value, and I can put anything I want inside here. I can pass like 6, 5, or I can pass a string, just like that, okay? I can do that, for example, if I want to. And if a person gets my theme inside my application, this person will have access to whatever I put inside the value property, okay? So what I want to do here is to pass an object, and I want the theme and some function to toggle my theme, okay? So let's call it theme and toggle theme, okay? And now, of course, I need to create it, constant theme. It's gonna be just like that. Let's just call it color, it's gonna be red. Let's just do that, okay? And let's create another function called toggle theme. Let's just copy this, toggle theme, that this function needs to change from the dark and light mode, okay? So let's do better. Let's create here the light mode, okay? So let's do that, the light mode and the dark mode, okay? So now I have an object with red, light and dark. So color, this is gonna be pink, for example, and the dark, the color, it's gonna be black. Could we use brown, something like that? But let's just use black. Okay. So let's call it teams. Okay, let's call it teams. And what I want to do here is to check if the user is using the light team or the dark team. Okay, so I will create something here that's called use state. It comes from comes with React. Guys, today it's a lot of I don't know, maybe some team in Portugal has won something, so people are in the streets just like saying, "Yay, sports, go sports!" But I don't know which team won anything, so they are just happy. Am I just hearing this? Maybe Albas know. Sporting won the championship. Yes, so go sports! Actually, go Sporting. It's a team in Portugal and won the championship. I don't know what kind of championship, but they just won that. And the Sporting is not a good team in Lisbon. Well, in Portugal, most of the time the good teams are Porto and Benfica, but well, Sporting overcome everybody and now they are the winners. Congratulations, Sporting, for winning. Good. So how do we use state? How do we do that? You need to start the value with something. So I'm just going to start right now with light. I'm just going to do that, okay? And this is going to be team, let's call it team type, okay? Team type. So my team type will start with light, okay? And this will receive the value. So this will receive the light. So, but if I want to change from light to dark, I need to pass a function to do that for me. So let's call it set team type. Okay, there you go. Now I have a variable that receives the value and a function that's able to change the value. Okay, so the toggle will receive it. So let's check. So set, not this one, just this one. There you go. Set team type. And if I want to change, so what should I should check if team type equal light. If it's equal light, so I'm gonna set the things to dark. If it's not, I'm gonna set it to light. There you go. So the toggle, when this toggle function is executed, it's gonna call the set team type, and the set team type will change from dark to light. If it's light, it's gonna be dark. If it's dark, it's gonna be light. So this is the way that we use to change from one to another. Okay, nice. And now the theme. So how can I change the theme? So the theme, it's gonna be teams, okay, and of course the theme type. There you go. So in the end, the team will receive or this information or this information, depending on what it's set here. In the very first beginning, my theme will start with light. Okay, so it always starts with the color pink, being the theme that I want to use. But if I want to change, I just call this function. This function will change everything for me, and all my theme will be changed. Did you understand until now, Bruno, or do you have any question about that?
No, no, it everything good. I use there's a car with a loud song. Uh, I use Contact API a lot in my React projects,
Nice.
and I there's a I don't know if it's a new feature in the styled components, uh, but I'm using for a while, and the styled components in React have his own theme provider. So you don't even need to pass through the props anymore. You just need to inform the theme in the value to the provider, and the properties of the theme will be inside the properties in the styled components.
Yeah,
So it's
but
very nice.
yeah, I'm doing that because I want to do a second thing, and this is one of the things that made me use styled components and themes and all that. What was the problem I had? I had a client that it has a software that was kind of a SaaS. What does that mean? This means that I want my software to be exactly the same, but change everything from different clients that it has. For example, um, instead of having these kind of things, I will have the default, let's call it default theme, okay, default theme, and then I will have some client theme. For example, let's call it TGS, okay? So I have the TGS, and then I have another one. Let's call it Bruno. So Bruno, it's my client as well. So I need to get these, okay? Need to get these, and this is gonna be inside of here. So this is gonna be the default, okay? And then this is gonna be for TGS. This is gonna be for Bruno, okay? So this is gonna be red, and this is gonna be blue, okay? And this is gonna be green, and this is gonna be red, blue, yellow, okay? The thing is, I will just const client. Let's just do that. Const client equals. Well, let's start it with default. Okay. Client. So now, instead of just having that, I will have something like that. Okay. So from the themes, I will get my client, and from the client, I will get the dark or the light. So it's a little bit more complex. Okay. With that,
Okay.
I'm working with SaaS softwares. So the first time I worked with that, it was the first time I started to work with styled components and with these themes, and everything was like really amazing because now I can create my website, and for example, if I want to sell it for a client that has its own logo, has its own colors and everything, I just set it into the themes, set the client, and everything will be set for me into my application. Let's see that happening. Okay, so let's check if it's possible to do that. Okay, so we have all the themes and everything that we need to. It's already set. Okay, let's just check. Well, the problem with the children is missing the props validation. In my slint, I've said that we want to use the prop types, because as we are not working with TypeScript, we need to type the components as well. So is it possible to type the components without using TypeScript? Yes, it is. You just use prop types. So I don't think that I've installed prop types yet. So let's do that. Let's install the library. Guys, I'm really sorry about all this noise in the background, but you know, Sporting won, and as Deborah said, they didn't won anything since 2002. Oh my God, I was in the university in 2002. It's like 20 years without getting anything, and now they get it, so they should be happy with that. Okay, so let's
Let
just
them cheers.
let them do that. Boys gonna be boys. Docker exec. Again, we do not install things outside the containers. We do that inside the container every time that we want to do that. So SPA, yarn, add, and then we are going to add the prop types. If I don't remember as well, it's gonna be just like that, isn't it? Yes, prop types. There we go. And it's installed. Nice. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna import. Okay, so let's just get to that. Yeah, it's capital. I've never remembered its prop types from prop types. There we go. Okay, and then I will come here to my components and do the temp provider dot prop types, but this is gonna be not capital. It's gonna be just like that. Prop type is equal. It's gonna be an object, and then to this object I need to pass the props validation. Prop types dot any end is required. Why do I use any to children? Because children it's any. When you are working with a React component, what's inside the component can be a string, can be a number, can be another component, can be anything that you want to. So all the children's, when you try to validate, it's gonna be any. So you can just pass anything and you are fine. But I just needed to do that. Okay. So okay, now here it's connected to the theme provider, and now inside my app, okay, inside my app, this is my routers, and then my routers I can route to homepage or login, okay, and then this is my pages, and then here we go, we have the homepage. Right? So now what I can do, I can import, okay? I can import the theme from the context that I'm using. So I just need to use the context. So I will need the context to do that for me. So in order to do that, I need to export this thing as well. So let's just do that. Export default as theme context. Okay, from this is gonna be just like that. Provider and context. Okay, so now I have the context into my themes, and if I want to use that, I need to import the context. Import from themes. Themes. And I need the theme context. Okay, nice. And into my component, if I want to use it, I can do the const and then an object. Okay, and this object I will use the use context from React. Use context from React, and of course what I'm going to pass to this it's gonna be the temp context. Okay, VS Code doesn't know about that, but what you're going to receive here, it's gonna be everything that you put in the value. Okay, so in the value, I'm passing an object. This object has team and toggle team, so I can use that. I can get both of them. So team and let's get from there. Toggle team. There you go. Go back here. So team and toggle team. Okay, and what I can do, I can pass the team to my component. Okay, there you go. So, and now this team, as I'm passing this team to this wrapper, instead of doing that, I'm just going to do the team, okay, and I'm going to do the team color. Why is that? Let's go back and think together again. I have the theme. The theme is teams client team type. So the client's default, so team's default, and team type. Team type starts with light. So what the color I want to see, it's pink into my application. And if I go, am I in home page? Yes, I'm in home page. Let's inspect and see what's the color that's set. Background color is going to receive the color. Let's just console log this and see what's inside of that. It's undefined. Why? So I have the context. Yes. Demi context. And then I have my provider. And then I have all my provider. Toggle team, set toggle team, the value. The value is here. And it's gonna get teams and all. Why is what I'm missing here? This is gonna be Temi context provider value. In the index, I have it wrapped into my application. So team provider, and I have everything. This is not going to do any difference, but let's just do that. Let's keep undefined into the home page. I just get the team, use context, Temi context from there. Temi context, it's the Temi context. Yes, Temi context, the Temi context. Temp provider, it's the temp provider. Now it's the moment I'm receiving children and passing. Yeah, it's all here. So this is working. It's being called value team. Did I get team? Yes, I get team. I got team, and it is team. Why it's not working? Do you have any idea, Bruno?
Try to console log the team with the.
This is value or values?
Go to the provider. This themes, client, theme type, the same thing that you are passing to the theme prop inside the value.
Just check this. Default's working.
I know why. Go a little bit.
Let me just console log this.
Look how you wrote the light in the use state and how you wrote the light in the
Yeah,
object.
yeah, yeah. Light. Which one is which? Light. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, exactly. But absolutely perfect. Nice. It was just a typo into the object. Bruno, you are really good. You should be a QA with that kind of eyes. Yeah, yeah. This is the QA eyes.
Uh,
Nice.
I was trying to figure it out too. It took a while.
Yeah, all the QAs I know, they have this kind of eyes. You know, they look at the application, and with some kind of things, they just say, "Hey, look at that," and you are what? And they, yeah, there's a typo in there. Nice. So
Yeah.
now everything is working. Okay. So if, as you can see, my website, it's pink. Okay. So let's just get the Toggle team. Okay. So let's get the Toggle team from this. So let's get this function. Okay. So we can get it from here. Okay. And let's just do that. And let's create a button here. Let's do that.
One thing that I like to do is to create a function that will export the use context theme context.
Yeah, yeah. I
Then
will.
I then I then I give the name use theme context. But it's fine
Yeah,
this way just to show how to do.
yeah. I actually will do that next. I will just show them all these things working, and actually I do one step further than to you were saying. We will create a hook to get everything, and you will understand in a moment. Let's just create this button first,
Nice.
uh, and then on click, uh, just a button with a on click function, and inside of this, let's just call the toggle team. Okay. So this means that uh, toggle. Let's call it toggle. Okay. What's wrong here? Missing explicit type attribute. Yeah. Type type button. Okay. So it's a button with time button. When I toggle the thing, I click on it. It's just toggle between the dark and light. Okay. And the best thing is, if you have different clients, as I told you before, if you have different clients, for example, I want to set the client to TGS, okay, and then I'm going to say now it's gonna toggle between red and blue. And if you use, of course, if you use Bruno, it's gonna toggle
Oh,
between yellow.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought that you was calling
The
for me.
yeah, yeah. And you can toggle between yellow and green. So as you can see, all my home page, it's gonna be the same. There is no difference uh, in the structure of my application. There is no difference, but depends on the client that I'm working with, depends on the dark or light mode that I'm working with. This application is gonna be changing all the styles that I want to. So this means that, but instead of doing this here, let's improve it a little bit, because this team is gonna be really, really, really big. So instead of doing that, let's just create a new folder, here. Let's call this folder teams. Okay, and this team is gonna be just like this variable. Okay, but instead, let's just create a new folder here, and let's call it clients. Okay, and of course I will have a new file here. This file is gonna be the default team. Okay, this is the default team, and then I can just get, if I want to, let's just get this. So let's copy it. Okay, so I have the default team. There we go. And I will just have this one instead of all that. I will just have the I don't have none of that. So let's just add here. I believe that we will have the dark and light, isn't it? But I want you to make it even better, because we can do that. So this is gonna be, instead of themes, let's call this generic. Okay, and then I will have dark theme. So generic theme, dark theme, and light. Oh, light theme. Okay. The reason that I'm doing that, no, the better way to do, you can get the dark light theme. Let's put that in that way. Okay, so I will have in the dark light theme, I need to have the dark. Okay, the dark and the light. This seems better. Okay, so I'm just going to create a color here, and let's use the pink and black theme color. It's gonna be black. Okay, nice. And in the generic, let's create things that it's structural. There's nothing to do with the color. For example, the fonts of my application. Okay, so let's just do the primary. Okay, primary color, the primary font, let's use Roboto. That's good with sans serif. Okay, sans serif. There you go. Now we have the dark and light, and we have the generic. So what are we going to export? So let's export default. And now we are going to create another object inside of here, and this is gonna be the dark. Okay, so what does dark have? Everything that I have in the dark light theme, dark. Okay, plus everything that I have into the generic theme. And the light's gonna be exactly the same thing, but instead of dark, it's gonna be light, and this is gonna be light as well. So what I'm doing here, I'm creating two different kind of themes. The themes that it's about things that's generic, just like fonts. So I don't have dark font, light font. I just have fonts. Okay, so fonts, sizes, everything that's about sizes and fonts and everything, it's gonna be into the generic theme. And the dark light theme, it's just about the differences that I have when it's dark and when it's light. And now I'm exporting an object. This object has the dark and the light. The dark has everything that's in the dark plus the generic theme, and the light has everything that's in the light plus the generic themes. Okay. And now I just have the default. Okay, this is the clients, so I just set the default client. Okay, and then let's create a new file here, index.js. Okay, and this index.js, let's just import, let's call it default theme from dot clients default theme. Okay, so it's gonna get from there, and then I'm just going to create a theme here. Okay, and I'm just gonna say that the themes dot default it's gonna be equal the default theme that I've got there, and then I'm just going to export default themes. Okay, so now it's better because if I want to create another client with different themes in my application, I will just create another file here, call it, for example, tds theme.js. Okay, so I can copy all these things from here and the TGS. So instead of pink, let's call it red and blue. Okay, no, let's use green. No, let's use for dark green, and for light let's use white, because green and white, it's the colors of the sporting. That's these people just, you know, I don't know if you can hear from the stream, but outside they are really excited. There is some fireworks and
It's not
people in
really
this.
that loud. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Oh, nice.
I believe it's okay, right, chat?
Yeah. Okay, but people in the chat will talk to us about that. Nice. So I'm just going to create the TGS idea. So it's going to be exactly the same thing. And if I want to, I can do the same thing. And instead of that, let's just import the TGS theme and just do that. And I will just do exactly the same thing that I've done here. And let's call it .tds. Oh, TDS. And let's get the TDS themes. Okay. Now into my themes, I have all these, and I just can this default, so I can export it here. Export default as themes from to themes. There we go. Okay, and I will go back to my theme context. Okay, and then I will import from themes. Okay, what can I get from themes? I can get the themes, and I actually can get the theme context. I don't need this line anymore. So there we go, and then I have the themes here. So instead of that, it's gonna be that. Okay. What? I cannot properly light or film define it. Okay, let's just console log the theme and see what's in there. Themes. It's perfect. Themes. Yes. Okay. It's right. It's because the client is Bruno. So let's call it default and see what happens. There we go. So I can toggle when it's default, and if I use TGS, it's gonna be between white and green. There you go. So now we are 100% prepared to use themes in our application. So all the colors, yes, because Deborah lives in Lisbon as well. Albus lives in Lisbon, but it's kind of Lisbon. It's a place next to Lisbon, but I don't know why he can hear anything. But for Deborah, it's really loud. I live in the center of Lisbon, so they are really, really, really excited. Really, a lot of people cheering in. Well, nice. Congratulations, Sporting, for that. Go Sports, go Sports. You're really good, Sports. So now it's complete. And the best thing is I have a constant here called client. And I can define this client. What I'm gonna do, instead of defining this client here, instead of defining my client here, I'm going to define the client into the Docker Compose. Okay, so let's just do that. Okay, let's just change my Docker Compose. Okay, so in my SPA, in my environment variables, I can add a variable called client. Okay, let's start with, well, I'm not going to define it here. I'm going to define it into the .env. Okay, so I have the SPA here. So let's define client equals, let's start with default. Okay, now we have a problem because we have an environment variable, but for the API, the environment variables is gonna work. For the SPA, it's not gonna be the same thing. Why? Because I don't have access to the environment variables in the client, because the SPA is gonna run into the browser of the client. So how can we solve this problem? We're gonna solve this problem doing a kind of magic trick, and I will teach you how to do that. Okay, so I will create a script. Okay, and this script, let's create a new folder in the root of my application. Okay, let's create a script here. Instead of script, let's call it scripts. Nice. Let's create a file here and let's call it parse config. Okay, because it's gonna parse the configs of my application. Okay, nice. In the first line, it's gonna be a JavaScript, so it's gonna use the Nodejs to do the things that I need to. So let's do that because they are really messy out there. And then let's require the file system. We will need that in order to create a file for us. So I'm just going to create a constant here. Let's call it project variables. Okay, project env environment variables. Okay, nice. And I'm just going to pass an array here, and let's just get the client. So now what I want to do is to loop through these through this array. Okay, so I want you to loop through these, get all the environment variables, and create a file with all this information. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do now. So let's create here a function to do that for us. Okay, so config environment variables. Okay, so I have config variables. I will loop through everything that I have inside these variable, and it's gonna be the entries here. Okay, the entries. Okay, entry. It's just gonna be one. Okay, and let's just get this env entry. Okay, this entry, it's gonna be the process dot env dot entry. Nice. So when I'm processing these, I will process it into the backend. So the backend has access to the process env variable. So the backend has access to all the environment that I need to. Okay, and I'm gonna say let's just check for. I didn't need to do that actually. I will just to return directly. Return, okay, env entry. Okay, so if I found the env entry, what I'm going to do, I'm going to export. I'm just going to create a line of export. Okay, export const, and this const, it's gonna be the name of the entry. Okay, and it's gonna be equal. Okay, it's gonna be a thing like that. So it's gonna be equal the env entry. Okay. If not, let's just get something like new. So what I'm actually doing, I'm getting all the environments that I want, looping through everything, getting the value of these from the environment variables, and create a line called export const. In this case, gonna be export const client equals, and the value that I've passed to. In the beginning, it's gonna be default. Okay, it's going to create this line for me. And what should I do with this line? Okay, so if config environment variable has length, this means that there's something inside of that. So let's create a file. So write file sync. Okay, I want it to be sync. I don't want to wait for anything. And it's going to create inside a folder called environment. I always make these wrong. And let's do the index.js. Okay, and what's going to be inside this file? Inside this file, we will have something just like that. It's going to be the config environment variable. And let's join all of these with a break line. Okay. And in the end, let's add another break line because we need a final empty line in every file that we create. Okay. So I'm just going to do this. So again, what's this parse config is doing? Getting all the environment variables that I want to be into the environment for the client into the application. Pretty catchy. Guys, I'm implementing the admin panel in Vue. That is a person logs into account, it's administrator, and an additional panel appears. Please tell me how to implement this. Now I see it like this. When Vue logs in, it makes a request to API, the person is an administrator, additional field return to status, special token generated for administrators. Next, Vue.js.
Yeah, I was just typing.
Yeah.
I was just writing to there.
Pretty
We don't have.
sissy. Well, what we are doing here, pretty sissy, it's exactly what you are trying to do. So all these, but I'm not using it. I'm not using Vue.js. I'm using React, but it's gonna, in the end of the day, it's gonna be exactly the same thing that you are trying to do. The approach that you're trying to do, just like check if the admin is true or not, it's not a good approach. You should use something to check for that. So you need to use JWT token to do, and inside the token you've got all this information. Actually, the token will just get information from the backend, so you will be able to log in as administrator and all of that. So actually, what you are asking me is exactly what we are doing here. So we are doing exactly that. We are creating users with authentication and the backend to do that for us using GraphQL. So I can't give you a short answer to just do that and it's gonna work. I can say that just checking if is admin true or not, it's not gonna be a good idea. There's a lot of problems with security if you does that. Actually, you should use a token, and inside the token you will have this kind of information, and then the token we use to connect to the backend and all of that.
Maybe she just needs some paths to follow. If you return in the first time, if the administrator if the user is an administrator or not, you can manage the pages. But the real verification will be in the backend.
Yeah.
That will verify the token that you are passing. So that token will be checked, will be decrypted in the backend, and we'll see with the secret key that you have in the backend, and we'll check if you are an actual administrator or not. And even if the user uh, managed to access an unauthorized page, he will not see any information because will not be
Sending it.
load. Yes, the backend
Yeah.
will block him.
Yeah. So the thing is, as you showed me, you are really going to do that as it's not going to be. It's going to be a real software that you're going to do, as I see. Because if you are just testing and trying to understand how Vue.js works or anything like that, it's okay to do that. But if you want to create a real application with everything that you need, it's gonna be a little bit bigger than what you are showing me. What you're trying to do is gonna work, okay? But you have some security problems with that that you should avoid if you are going to production, okay? So just take care with that. If you're starting, I don't know if a junior, a senior, if you have a team working with you, if you're trying to decide the infrastructure of everything. But if you're just messing around and trying to figure out what you're doing, my advice to that would be first of all, just take a look at all the streams that we've done. It's ordered, it's in the YouTube if you want to get from the beginning. But I'm showing step by step the backend and the front end. How would you do something just like you are showing me and asking me? I'm doing lives for 2 hours a day. We're in the 11, so it's 22 hours. So I need 22 hours to explain you until now to explain you how to do that. And what I'm just trying to avoid here, it's because I don't know if we're going live or production or create a real software for a real client. If you're just messing around, I advise you to keep going and doing what you're doing, because it's a good start. But if you're going to create a software for a real client, you need to study a little bit more about the tokens, the authentications, and all this process. Don't just use is admin true or not. It's not a good approach to software development. Okay, so I don't know if I answered your question, but that's what I have to offer right now. If you have any other kind of question, just ask in the chat, and the moment I see it, I will read it and try to help you with that. Okay.
You want to join us in the Discord?
Yeah, if
We
you want
can
to join us in
help
the Discord, you
us
can
know more later.
keep in touch with us, ask anything, and I will be glad to help you with anything that you need. And but the idea of Vue.js, I know that Vue.js is different from React, but the idea in the end, it's gonna be really similar with what we are doing here. So you can use a lot of strategies that we are using here. You will be able to use into the Vue.js, and pretty CC. I believe that. Well, I'm here to help. If you need any help, I'm here to help you. Okay. Keep going. So getting all the variables, processing it, creating a string that export everything, and we will create inside this folder. So now I need to create a new folder called, let's just copy, because new folder, there we go. So environment. Okay, so when I start my application from the Docker Compose, I want it to run this script. So how I'm going to do that? I'm just going to go to the assemble, okay, and it's right here. So it's just going to call node, and node it's going to run this file for me. And let's check if this is possible. So, oh, something went wrong. Let's see what happens. Okay, what I need to do, I need to define into the script, into the first line, I need to define who's the one that's going to run this script for me. Okay, let's do that now and see if it works. Yeah, still not working. Why? Then it can't find scripts parse config. How so? It's here. Parse. The capital C. So actually, well, okay. Parse config. It's just like that. Okay, and let's see if it's going to work. API, it's working. SPA, it's working. And there we go. So now it created for me a file that's index.js with the client I want to. And if I change the client, for example, I'm just going to change to TJS. When it goes down and it goes up again, it's going to create it for me. So let's check it. There you go, TJS. Now it's getting the TJS client. Okay, let's just use the default because I want to. Okay, and go down and up. Nice. And into the themes now. It's here. Instead of getting the client from the TDS just like that, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna import from environment, okay, and of course it's gonna give me the client, and there we go. So it's toggling between black and pink, okay, and if I change in the environment the TGS, okay, if I change the TGS and make it goes up again, let's check it, and there you go. If I come here, it's going to change between white and green. Okay, so you can define now from the perspective of environment which is your client. So if I want to build the front end for the TDS, I just put in the client TTS, and all my colors, all my fonts, everything that I have inside my my React will react to that and use the client. Okay, and this is one of the things that I saw a lot of people suffering to do, suffering to create different clients with Sass and all. And as you can see, it's really simple, really simple. We can do that like in an hour, okay? And it's really good to use. Let's just keep with the default theme. And actually, yeah, that's it. So I have dark light, I have all the things set up. There's only one more thing that I want to do about the theme, because as you can see, this is not really good, because every time, for example, it's green. If I reload the page, it goes back to white because I lost the state of my component. So what I want to do is to do something just like instead of setting with light, what I'm gonna do something like JSON, okay, dot parse. Let's parse something from the local storage. So we're gonna save our theme into the local storage. So get this this item. It's gonna be theme. So, but if we don't have these, what I'm gonna do? Let's start with light. Okay. Okay. But is it gonna choose save into the nice? So let's check it. Green. Memory, it's application. Let's check if we have a no, we don't.
I believe it. We don't.
Yeah, because we didn't set it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to
We need to set it to
use
the
the
local
toggle.
source. Yeah, the set
the
item.
toggle function.
Mm-hmm. So what I need to do the here in the toggle. Let's do the local storage dot set item. Okay. Let's do it into the theme, and this is gonna be. Let's just get this and put it into a constant new theme. We're gonna be this theme type. So let's just put it here and here. I believe that set eating works just like that, isn't it? So it's going to start with light, and if I set it, there you go. So I have dark. What's the problem? Token D into the JSON. What is the problem? It's doing the JSON parse. I believe I don't need the JSON parse because it's not going to be a JSON.
I believe you don't need, because it's not a...
Yeah, it's not a JSON
object.
Yeah, so
But
light.
I would...
Yeah, if I reload, it's gonna be right. Green, reload, green. Perfect. That's it. So now it's going to save the theme into the local storage. So even if I close the page and just open another one and just do that, it's gonna save the previews because I'm using the local storage now to save what kind of theme I'm doing. So let's just check if it's good enough. I'm just I just have the feeling, you know, that it could be better. Do you know when you feel inside of you that this could be better? But okay, I will think about that later. Right now, this is good enough. Well, nice. And another thing that I want to do, instead of using the use context just like that, let's create a hook. Okay, let's create a hook for us. In the src folder, I will create a new folder called hooks. Okay, it's gonna be my my personal hooks. Okay, and inside this hook, let's create a new folder called use my context. Okay, so I'm just going to create a hook called use my context. So new file, index.js. Okay, and this hook, actually it needs to be a JSX, because I need to access all the components and everything. It should be seen as a component. So of course I need to now let's create a const use my context. It's gonna be a function. Okay, just like that. And let's export it. Export the default use my context. There we go. This function, when you call this function, it's going to return to you an object. Okay, there you go. And inside of this function, instead of doing all these things into any component I have, instead of doing that, I'm going to do this inside of this context. Okay, so I'm just going to do that, and of course I need to import this, use my context, and then I'm just going to do that toggle team. There you go. Okay, and into the hooks, new file, index.js, and do the same thing that we do all the time. So export from use my context, and this is gonna be default as use my context. Okay, nice. Now I can import everything from my from the hooks. Okay? There you go. And here, what I'm gonna do, I'm just going to remove this, and I will do import something from hooks. Okay, and what do I have here? I have use my context, and now I can do const and equals use my context. Okay, and from here I can get, as you saw, it's already listening to me, so I can get team and the toggle team. There you go. Let's check if it's still working. It's still working. So why did I do that? If you remember, in the backend we have something called context. What do I have into the context? Let's just go back to the backend and just take a look, and you will see that the same strategy that I use in the backend, I will use exactly the same strategy into the front end. So let's get, for example, interfaces. Okay, so I have the server. If you remember, I have the context, and I return everything that I want for my functions to work. Everything that I want will be here into this return. This object, it's the primary object. So into all the schemas I have, if I go to the mutations, for example, I have the context there. If I go to the queries, I have the context there. So if I do context dot, I can access everything that I want to. I'm using exactly the same strategy into the front end. So I have a hook, okay, and this hook will group everything that I want to, and I will return an object, and this object will have everything that I want in order to my application to work. So I can put the use history here, I can put in translations. There's a lot of things that we can put inside of this use my context object that's gonna be perfect for us, because when we do the tests, we just mock this guy. We just need to mock this one for all my tests to work. Okay, so I don't need to get mocking histories, mocking this, mocking that. You don't need to do that. You just group everything into a context, and now every time I want something to be accessible for my components, I will use the hook use my context in order to do that for me. And you will see in the future that this is gonna be really, really handy when we do all the other pages. But I believe that for themes, this is all that we need. Okay, so we have all the themes set, and of course that this file it's gonna grow a lot. So we will put a lot of information here, and let me just give you a little bit of example that. Okay, so let's just I would just copy what I've got from here and put here, just for you to understand the importance of these. So in the generic design, I have fonts, primary, pre, quote, sizes, the page breakpoints. I will have here max width, header width, the text, the size of the text, the size of buttons, large buttons, mid buttons, small buttons, images, large images, mid images, small images, things like that. And in the dark, I have the colors, the primary colors, secondary colors, backgrounds, text, actions, and then you have the light in the same way, colors, primary, background, and this will be all exported into an object that has all this information. I'm just giving you a glimpse of this that will work in the future. But let's do this step by step. If we need something, we come back here and we create it. But this is what we are gonna do. Okay, so I believe that for today it's a real big step. I don't know you guys, I don't know Bruno if how it was for you, but yeah, I believe that it was a good day, and we can be from now on. Guys, if you have any doubt about anything that we are doing, please just let me know, and well, I'm willing to help you guys. Don't worry, okay? So
Yes.
I'm just going right now. Where is my chat? I'm just going to rate you to a guy that he works with software development. It's a really good streams. Thank you for everyone for being here, for all of that. Thank you, Bruno, for all the help, for the really peaky eye and everything.
No
See
problem.
you in the next
See you guys.
the next session, and
If
thank you very much for being here.
Reach us.
Yeah.
See ya.
See ya.
See you later, guys.
See you later.
In the next section.
See you in the next session.
Next Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah. See you. Bye bye.
See you guys. Bye.